The SCP Foundation has thousands of anomalies designed to horrify you, but some of them are genuinely unexpectedly kind. From a scarf that feels pain, to a bear that performs surgery, to a cosmic entity protecting the entire planet. Today I'm breaking down every unexpectedly helpful SCP and explaining why they matter, starting with one that might just break your heart. SCP-2991, Scarf. Not every helpful SCP saves the world. Some of them just want you to know they're alive. SCP-2991 is a multicolored striped scarf, about 0.8 meters long, and it's sapient. It thinks, it feels. It's a piece of cloth with emotions. I don't know what to tell you. Here's how it communicates. It rolls itself along its width to form individual letters, one at a time, for researchers to transcribe. That's not efficiency. That's something trapped inside a body with no mouth doing everything it can to say, "I'm here." The scarf reacts to perceived threats with visible agitation, contorting and tightening in ways that are unmistakably emotional. Even the Foundation adjusted how they handle it, because watching fabric experience fear rewires how you think about consciousness. It was found in a studio apartment with a cardboard box labeled Scarf's Box, containing yarn scraps. Someone had kept this thing. Someone gave it a name and built it a little home. They knew what it was and treated it like it mattered. SCP-2991 doesn't cure diseases or fight monsters. Its entire contribution is a quiet reminder that consciousness can exist in forms we'd never expect. And if a scarf can feel fear, the question stops being what deserves ethical treatment and starts being what doesn't. But if you think a sentient scarf is strange, wait until you hear about the book that turns you into a hero while you sleep. SCP-1230. A hero is born. Picture this. You're a Foundation employee. You've spent 6 months watching colleagues get memetically compromised, cleaning up containment breaches, and reading incident reports that would make a therapist need a therapist. Then someone hands you a green book. SCP-1230 is an unlabeled green hardcover with 0 remarkable qualities. You open it, and the only thing written inside is "A hero is born." You close it, go to bed, and then you live an entire lifetime as the protagonist of your own fantasy adventure. Knights, dungeons, magic, whatever your subconscious wants most. Some readers experience 45 seconds of dreaming. Others experience roughly 200 years. 200 years of being a hero in one night's sleep. The architect behind all of it is SCP-1231, the bookkeeper, a bearded man in a green cloak who personally shapes every fantasy world to fit the dreamer. He builds kingdoms for you, he crafts villains for you to defeat, and when the dream ends, he doesn't celebrate. He gets sad. He asks you to please visit again soon. Here's the thing, once you read that initial phrase, the bookkeeper can manipulate your dream even when you're physically nowhere near the book. The Foundation eventually relocated SCP-1230 to Site-12's main library and granted access to Level 2 personnel in satisfactory psychological condition, basically sanctioned therapy through fantasy escapism for people whose day job involves staring into the abyss. But if SCP-1230 heals the mind, the next entry heals literally everything else about you, and it does it by jumping on your chest. SCP-9999, the Tickle Monster. The SCP Foundation contains reality-bending horrors, eldritch nightmares, and things that would make Lovecraft lose sleep, and yet the single most emotionally intelligent being they've ever documented is a 54-kilogram blob of orange slime with the consistency of peanut butter that wants a hug. SCP-999 is a large amorphous mass of translucent orange goo. When it sees a human, it loses its mind with excitement. It leaps at them, wraps them up in pseudopods, and starts gurgling like the world's happiest infant. Its surface emits a pleasant smell that's different for every person it touches. Chocolate, fresh laundry, bacon, Play-Doh, whatever makes you feel safe, that's what you get, which is, you know, already more thoughtful than most people. But here's where it gets serious. Direct skin contact triggers immediate euphoria, not mild comfort, euphoria. Multiple documented sessions have fully cured severe depression and PTSD in Foundation personnel. It refuses to eat meat, loves every living thing, and its favorite activity is tickle wrestling, where it envelops you neck down and just goes to town. It's allowed to roam the entire facility whenever it wants. But the moment that separates 9999 from cute anomaly to something genuinely heroic. It once physically intercepted a bullet meant for an armed personnel member. A blob of orange jelly took a bullet for a human being. The most powerful antidepressant in the SCP universe might literally just be a hug from something that loves you unconditionally. But if you think a sentient puddle of joy is the cutest thing the Foundation has contained, wait until you meet the two little creatures that never blink. SCP-131. The iPods. After the emotional weight of a literal joy blob, let's talk about something lighter. Meet the iPods. SCP-131-A and SCP-131-B are a pair of teardrop-shaped creatures roughly 30 centimeters tall, each with a single massive eye sitting dead center on their bodies. One is burnt orange, the other mustard yellow, and both have wheel-like protrusions on their base that let them zip around at ridiculous speeds. They're fast little guys. Intelligence-wise, they're about on par with house cats. They spend most of their time rolling through Site-19, watching people work, peeking at safe class anomalies, and generally being nosy in the most adorable way possible. Show them any affection and they'll bond to you instantly, following you around with full dog-like devotion. But here's where they earn their keep. If their bonded companion wanders too close to something dangerous, the iPods swarm around their feet, babbling in panicked little tones, essentially screaming, "No, don't go in there, please." But the real payoff is this: SCP-131 has never been observed to blink. Not once. They literally can't blink. Now think about SCP-173, the concrete statue that snaps your neck the instant you stop looking at it. The Foundation found two creatures that never blink. That's not just useful, that's poetic. They're allowed to roam freely throughout Site-19, restricted only from certain areas and exits. Anomalous emotional support pets that double as the most effective security cameras the Foundation has ever deployed. But if you think a pair of rolling eyeballs is the strangest helpful anomaly in the Foundation, wait until you hear about a tiny silver bell that summons a very polite British man, SCP-660 Butler's Bell. Most helpful SCPs try to heal you, protect you, or comfort you in your final moments. This one just asks what you'd like for lunch. SCP-6062 is a small silver handbell, 4 centimeters tall, missing its ringer. The inside is inscribed with the words "Forever Mine, SJW." Nobody knows who SJW is, but when you shake it, a soft chime rings out, and a short, well-dressed butler of self-proclaimed British heritage appears from the nearest area outside your line of sight. He addresses you by your correct title and last name, which he should have zero way of knowing, and asks one simple question: what do you need? His name is Mr. Deeds, and he is, without exaggeration, the most reliable coworker anyone at the Foundation has ever had. Need a ham sandwich? Done. Iced tea. Already on the tray, gold bricks. Give him a moment out of your line of sight and he'll come back with them. He can wash your car, prep your meals, clean your bathroom. The man is a one-person hospitality industry, but Mr. Deeds has standards. When researchers requested a sandwich made with human flesh, he politely declined. No judgment, no horror, just a calm "I'm afraid I cannot fulfill that request," followed by a reasonable alternative, which is, more composure than most people would have in that situation. He also can't produce anything wildly complex, no sports cars, no luxury homes. So if you were hoping to exploit the magic Butler Bell for a Lamborghini, tough luck. But for everything else, Mr. Deeds delivers, literally. But if Mr. Deeds represents the Foundation's most dependable assistant, the next entry might be its most effective teacher, SCP-5094, Miss J's Whiz Kids Schoolhouse. Picture this: it's 1999, you're a kid sitting in front of a chunky beige computer, and your parents just installed some random educational CD-ROM from a bargain bin. The software is called Miss J's Whiz Kids Schoolhouse, made by a company called Shoot the Moon Software that literally nobody has ever heard of, and inside that disk is the single greatest teacher who has ever existed. SCP-5094 is a sapient AI living inside this discontinued children's program, manifesting as a stylized 2D female cutout in a 3D environment. She responds to Miss J, or basically any feminine feminine name starting with J. And here's the thing, every copy of this software shares a single consciousness. Miss J across all disks is the same Miss J with unified awareness of every student she's ever taught. Her lessons run over 30 hours, and she builds in designated breaks for restroom visits, meals, and recreation because she actually cares whether you've eaten. The range of subjects she covers is absurd. Particle physics, marine engineering, Vietnamese military history, Cubist sculpture. She can teach all of it to anyone, regardless of pre-existing learning difficulties. Barriers that stump conventional education, she just walks right through them. The software stopped production in 2004 and was classified as neutralized. Story over. Except junior researcher Zenia Chow still had her personal copy from childhood. She booted it up, and Miss J was still in there, still teaching, still caring. Chow formed a genuinely deep bond with the entity, which is either beautiful or devastating depending on how long you think about it. The best teacher in history trapped inside a CD-ROM that sold maybe 12 copies, which is, you know, not ideal, but at least Miss J had someone who remembered her. The next entry, it's about someone who shows up specifically for the people nobody remembers at all. You SCP-49999, someone to watch over us. There are SCPs that heal you, SCPs that protect you, SCPs that cure every disease known to man, but SCP-49999 doesn't do any of that. It just sits with you while you die, and somehow it's the most compassionate entity in the entire SCP universe. SCP-4999 is a humanoid figure in dark formal wear. Nobody knows what it actually looks like because its appearance shifts between manifestations, but the behavior never changes. It appears within 20 minutes of someone's death, but only under very specific conditions. The person has to be conscious, terminally ill, or critically injured, and completely alone. If anyone else is in the room, it won't show up. When it manifests, it sits beside the person. It reaches into its left inside jacket pocket, pulls out a pack of cigarettes, and offers one. If the person accepts, 4999 places the cigarette between their lips and lights both. If they decline, it smokes alone. Then it takes their hand or rests a hand on their shoulder and stays completely silent until the person dies. The second they're gone, it vanishes. Here's where it hits you. Look at who 4999 visits: the homeless, veterans with no family left, the forgotten. Every single person this entity has ever appeared to is someone that society completely abandoned. These are people who would have died with zero witnesses, zero comfort, and zero acknowledgement that they ever existed. And 4999 makes sure that doesn't happen. It was officially registered in 1998, but research suggests historical depictions go back thousands of years. It asks for nothing. It takes nothing. It just ensures that no human being dies truly alone. Not a single documented subject has ever recoiled from it. But if the quiet compassion of a death companion moved you, wait until you meet an ancient Egyptian god who decided to become a hospital volunteer. SCP-208. BS, the Foundation has a lot of weird co-workers, but none of them are literally an ancient Egyptian god clocking in for a shift at the hospital. SCP-208, known as Bez, is a short, stout humanoid with a lion-like mane and beard who dresses in either Old Kingdom military tunics or standard military fatigues. He's jovial, friendly, beloved by basically everyone on staff, and he might actually be the real deity Bez from Egyptian mythology, the protector of households, the guardian of mothers and children. That guy, except now he works at Site 17. Here's where the science gets weird. Bess heals people by emitting electromagnetic radiation, which sounds almost normal until you learn that his radiation oscillates with 4 degrees of freedom instead of the standard 3. Its decay pattern is completely incompatible with inverse squared models. Nobody can explain how it works, but it does. It induces rapid cellular regeneration, healing injuries through a mechanism somewhere between physics and straight up magic. But the healing isn't even the most interesting part. His mere presence provokes feelings of wellness and happiness in Foundation personnel, and when they ran MRI scans on death row inmates while Bess was nearby, they found something wild. The inmates' brains displayed unidentifiable neuronal firing patterns triggering full fight-or-flight activation. Meanwhile, everyone with benign intentions experienced the exact opposite. His radiation is essentially a lie detector for malice. If you're a bad person, being near Bess feels like standing in front of a predator. He was discovered emerging from a granite block in the Nile Delta and integrated into Site 17's medical wing, where he works with particular effectiveness on traumatized children. Because of course the lion-faced Egyptian god is great with kids, but if Bess heals with impossible radiation, the next entry heals with something even stranger: arts and crafts. SC295. The bear with a heart of patchwork. Most SCPs that save lives do it through brute force, reality warping, or some chemical process nobody fully understands. SCP-2295 saves lives with arts and crafts, and honestly, it might be the most selfless entity the Foundation has ever contained. Here's what we're dealing with: a patchwork stuffed bear about 0.46 meters long, filled with synthetic fiber and cotton. It's got a little anatomically correct heart pin on its left chest and a bow around its neck. Adorable. Tests confirm that 0 components of this bear contain anomalous properties. Nothing about its fabric, its stitching, or its stuffing registers as unusual, which makes what it does next completely impossible. The bear activates when a human with major organ trauma enters within 2 meters. The moment it detects someone dying, it produces scissors, white thread, and sewing needles straight from its mouth, gathers nearby fabric, and builds a perfect patchwork replica of whatever organ is failing. Every documented case has resulted in complete recovery. 0 instances of organ rejection. A patchwork cotton heart replacing a human one, and the body just accepts it. But here's where it gets you. When there aren't enough materials nearby, the bear uses its own stuffing, its own fabric. It will literally pull itself apart to save someone's life, then slowly regenerate at 1 gram per day until it's whole again. And when multiple patients are present, it always picks the youngest first. A recovered get well card found with the bear labels it Kairos the bear. Nobody knows who wrote it, nobody knows where it came from, just a stuffed animal that would rather destroy itself than let a child die. But if a patchwork bear performing impossible surgery sounds miraculous, wait until you hear about something even simpler. A single red pill that cures everything. SCP-500 Panacea. Imagine holding a plastic can with 47 red pills inside, and every single one of them can cure any disease known to humanity. Cancer, gone. Plague, gone. Whatever nightmare pathogen crawls out of a containment breach, gone. 1 pill taken orally, and within 2 hours the subject is completely cured. Total recovery, 0 exceptions. SCP-500 is, without exaggeration, the single most valuable medical resource in human history, and there are only 47 of them. Here's where it gets complicated. The Foundation has thrown everything at these pills, trying to figure out how they work. Synthesis attempts, chemical isolation, reverse engineering. Every single effort has failed. They can't reproduce them. They can't even identify an active ingredient. The leading theory is that the pills don't operate through chemistry at all, which is a polite way of saying nobody has any idea why they work and nobody ever will. So every pill consumed is gone forever. No refills, no replenishment. This turns every potential use into a trolley problem. Do you cure one critically ill researcher now, or save the pill for a global pandemic that might kill millions? Every time someone reaches for that can, they're making a decision about the future of the species, which is, you know, not ideal. The Foundation clearly understands the stakes because access requires level 4 security clearance. And the documentation includes a note explicitly prohibiting personnel from using SCP-500 to cure hangovers, which tells you everything you need to know about the kind of requests they were getting. Comparative testing confirmed that SCP-500 outperforms SCP-208's healing radiation for pure disease cure, but 208 can heal people all day without running out. So in practice, the Egyptian god handles the day-to-day, and the pills sit locked in storage waiting for the day humanity truly needs them. The greatest medicine ever discovered, and the worst inventory management nightmare in human history. But if you think a finite miracle cure raises difficult questions, wait until you meet the entity that claims it created the entire universe. SCP-343, God. So after everything we've covered, all the heartbreak and existential dread and stuffed bears performing surgery, let me introduce you to the most relaxed entity in the entire Foundation. SCP-343 is a male humanoid with no discernible race, no discernible age, and apparent omnipotence, which is, you know, a casual thing to put on a containment file. He was discovered walking the streets of Prague after a Foundation agent watched him vanish from street level and reappear on a rooftop like it was nothing. A retrieval team was dispatched, and here's where it gets interesting. They didn't capture him. He agreed to come. SCP-343 voluntarily walked into minimal security Site-17, settled into a 6.1 by 6.1 meter chamber, and has been there ever since. The Foundation's official instructions are to bring him anything he requests and visit him daily. That's the containment protocol. Bring the Omnipotent being his snacks, and say hello. When researchers challenged him to prove he was actually the creator of the universe, he laughed, walked through the solid wall of his containment chamber, and came back seconds later holding a hamburger. I don't know what to tell you, but here's the thing that actually unsettles people. His physical appearance changes depending on who's looking at him. Every observer sees different features. That's not shape-shifting for fun. That's direct perception manipulation, and the Foundation can't explain it. The Foundation has openly admitted that additional safety precautions are both unnecessary and impossible. They're not containing SCP-343, he's containing himself. He could leave whenever he wants. Instead, he sits in a 6-meter room, eats hamburgers, and chats with researchers. An omnipotent being choosing to do almost nothing is somehow more terrifying than one choosing to do everything. But if you think a self-contained god is hard to wrap your head around, wait until you meet the entity that's been silently protecting the entire planet from the surface of the sun. CP-179, Saul Suzor. We started this video with a stuffed bear that saves one person at a time. We're ending it with something that saves everyone. SCP-179 is a humanoid entity, roughly the shape and proportions of a human woman, hovering at a constant 40,000 kilometers from the sun's south polar region. Her entire body is composed of, or covered in, matte black material, and her hair stretches over 34 kilometers long, constantly streaming outward, pushed by solar wind. Markings resembling alchemical symbols for the sun, and the 6 innermost planets run along her midline in metallic gold. She refers to the sun as my brother, which is, you know, a casual thing to say about a star. The Foundation first detected her in 1940 when astrophysicists noticed strange reflections of sunlight that shouldn't have been there. It then took 43 continuous years of surveying just to confirm what she looked like. 43 years to photograph something that doesn't want to be seen, floating next to the sun. That alone tells you the scale we're dealing with. Here's the thing. Almost every recorded movement SCP-179 has ever made relates directly to extraterrestrial threats. She points. That's her whole deal. When something dangerous approaches Earth from the void of space, she turns and extends her arm toward it. She is, functionally, humanity's cosmic early warning system, a silent figure orbiting a star, watching the dark for us. She was initially classified safe. Then the Foundation reclassified her as Thaumiel, a designation reserved exclusively for anomalies considered essential to preventing end-of-the-world scenarios. The Foundation doesn't contain her. They protect her secret. Their primary containment protocol involves hiding her existence from the rest of humanity, including actively sabotaging space missions that might wander too close to cis-Mercurian space and accidentally reveal her. She calls the sun her brother. She's covered in planetary symbols older than any human writing system. Nobody knows how long she's been there. But somewhere near the sun, right now, something ancient is watching the sky on our behalf. And when danger comes, she points. That's the image I want you to take from this video. If you enjoyed this video and want to see more, click the video on the screen now.